Alright, so it's Wednesday and I'm still on vacation, so it's kind of nice. Yeah, I just got done, I guess, editing my videos. Usually I do that on like Monday, Tuesday, but I don't know, I just did this morning, so that's ready. But I want to try out the seed cleaner and I'm very happy with it so far. I just put one hand in there and I'll show you how it works. So I have it now hooked up. I'd like to probably make a bigger funnel on there at some point, but for now I just have this canning funnel that fits in there. Got the hose to the shop vac, and yeah, this could be 5-gallon buckets. I'm just using 4 liters right now, this is my buckwheat. I grew buckwheat last year to see if it was a viable crop. I think it is a viable crop considering the conditions it grew in and what it gave out. But you can see this is full of chaff and there is seed in it, so it looks it's like a little triangle. This is not the nicest looking seed, but it's like a little triangle. I'm not sure what kind, I bought buckwheat before and from like a Russian store, and it looked a little different, but I guess there's different varieties. Either way, so this is, as you can see, there's the chaff and there's the seed. look at that. That is clean. Yeah, there's still stuff, like if it's not, it needs to be threshed properly. So that's the biggest thing. Because, I guess I just saw that now. You can see there's the stem on there. But that's just because it wasn't threshed properly. I just took this through a sieve right now, so that's how I got that. And I'll go set this up and shoot a little bit of how this actually works. Alright, I just process it, and you can just toss them in by the handful. It seems to be like works very nicely. So there's the clean seed, and there is, well, that's all the chaff. So I'm gonna look through the chaff and see if it's actually just chaff, because if it's not, that means I have to reduce my vacuum, and yeah, I have to play around with, I guess, how much vacuum it draws and see if it's because if there's seed in there, that means it's too strong, and I need to open that port a little bit. So alright, so here's the end result. I got a bunch of seed, and yeah, you see there's still like that stick in there, or the stem. It depends on I ran it with a slight gap because I did notice that there was some seed getting in on the other side. This will get you the heaviest seed, but for the most part this is like 98% clean. Like, it's good enough to go I don't know, use it for whatever you want, I would say. And then on the other side it's just chaff. I looked through here a good amount, and I can't find seed. Or if there is seed in there, it's like the light, not fully developed seed. So this is all the heavy, mature seed. So this is nice. And then I'll give that to the chickens. And even if there is seed in there, then it's just a little extra for them. So no, I'm happy with how this works. I'm curious. You know, I could run some. I still have corn I could run through here, and you know, this is exciting. This makes quick work with that. The biggest upgrade I would make is some sort of hopper system to put the seed in there instead of doing it all by hand. Just have some, you know, a bigger funnel so I could just scoop it. Use a scoop to put it in there. Outside of that, though, this works really nicely. Alrighty, so yeah, I got the seed cleaner. You know, was messing around with that, and I actually cleaned a bunch of sorghum seed, which you know, I just it's here now. So this is the sorghum, and it turned out quite nicely. So I got rid of most of the chaff in there, and you know what? This is what I got. You know, this is a good. See, this is why I think sorghum is a very viable grain option for myself, along with corn. And so, I don't know, I'm very happy with those results. But now, in what is actually a very logical step forwards, what do you do once you have the seed cleaned? Well, now you want to use it for whatever purpose you want, and one of them is flour. And that's the whole point of this. While cleaning seed is nice too. I actually use the sorghum, you know, as a rice substitute. So that was one idea. But a while ago, I had bought a hand mill to make flour because I wanted to make my own flour. You know, that's one of the big staples that I still am reliant on the system for, and but I want to wean myself off of that, and so I got this little little wonder mill. So I heard good things about it, so I figured I'd go try it, and so I'm just getting this one set up, but the idea is to have this as my flour making station, so to kind of have it just here set up so that I can make flour when I need to make bread. Because ideally, you don't want to make flour and then store it. You want to store seed and then grind it. You get more nutritional value if you leave the seed intact. Once you break the seed, that's when the biological clock starts ticking and your nutritional value starts degrading. So better to do it when you need to do it. So that's the idea here. Now this countertop is a little bit, you can see it's damaged. There used to be a large arch here that, well, basically there was a little rounded port that connected the two sides, but it was a big structure in here. Who knows? Maybe if I find a picture I can toss it up. It's been 6-7 years since that was taken down. But the thing was screwed. I don't know how they screwed it down here, but when we took it off, yeah, it ripped this out with it. So the idea here is to, I'm thinking about making like a plate or some wood that kind of, one acts as a base for this in some sort of fashion of a setup, because I'm thinking I could use this bowl as well. This could be my flour bowl or something of the sort, because it always sat there anyways. And then use cover that area with a piece of wood, and then have my flour station set up over there, and you know, that I can make flour and cover those spots. Two birds with one stone. So I'm just going to set up this mill so that it's in its complete form, and I can get measurements from it, and then start designing a little platform, because that's, setting up the mill was actually on the list. I made a little list, so, and sometimes I'm just scrabbling things to do, and this is one of those things that just need to be done. So, and you know, it's just, for me, this stuff is just fun, but it's yeah, just getting around to do it. Alright, so the mill is set up, and measurements have been taken, and now I'm going to cobble something together. So yeah, I'm thinking about having it set up like this. I actually I like this bowl for it. It fits nicely under there. So I'm thinking about having a platform that extends about 1 inch on the edge here, just enough to cover this, up until this little dent here. So it'll be 16 inches wide, 17 and a half deep. And then I'm thinking about just having it flat here and then Roman edging. Maybe take a 45 and then go just a slight rounded corner. So just so that there's an elevated platform over there. And this, not necessary, but just that gives me something to screw into for one. And yeah, the only thing I don't like is that the handle sticks over the counter, but that's not a big deal for me. It's still out of the way, so it's like that. I mean, otherwise this whole thing has to sit like that high over there, and then it sits there instead. Whereas this seems to make a little more sense, in my opinion. And at least it's like this is not a real walkway. It's easy enough to get by, so I think that's good. Yeah. So I'll go find. The question is, what kind of wood I make it out of. I'll go find something. I do have to. I can't finish it today, I guess, because it needs to be glued together. I mean, I don't have anything that's 16 inches wide. Unless I make it out of plywood, but I didn't want to do that. So I'll go out to see, wrestle up some wood and go from there. All right. So I am continuing with this flour mill project. Had a little break there. Had a friend of mine come over, guy I work with, and he's building a chicken coop, and he needed plywood. So, I got a good reserve of that. So sent him on his way with some building material. As it goes, I just finished planing all the oak boards here. So these are all taken from pallets. Those same, pallets that are seen out there. These ones were stored away. These were when I had a whole run of. I just took a bunch of these apart. I sorted through some. I took the ones that looked the nicest, and it's not always the nicest stuff, but it's hard to, they're not always the straightest, but you try to machine around that, and at least I got two decent faces here. And yeah, you got to deal with these nail holes, and sometimes you get rough spots in there, and get a little good sanding in the end, a little bit of selection on. I have found one way to get rid of these is what I did before was I make dowel made plugs. I made these, and so I just drill a hole the size of this, and then I just glue them in there, and then I just sand them flush, and then you plug the hole like that. So I'm just going through. I'm cutting more of these boards down to length. That way it's a little bit easier to joint the edges. Now I'll have the edges jointed, and then this one I actually mocked up yesterday evening when I signed off. I'm like, you know what, I'll quickly cobble something together. In fact, now that I think of it, I could be cobbling together something here out of oak instead. That's 2020. This was the idea is to make a pulley out of this one. It's just 3/4. Again, this is all just scrap pallet wood. So I just jointed those together, glued them up, and now I'm just cutting the boards down. Here's one, and then get the jointer set up, and then have them all glued up. And I can leave that off, and then find something else to do. See where the day goes. Alright, well, the day is going on, and I was mulching a little bit. So I was cutting around like the elderberries and the nut tree. The walnuts. That's what it is. Yeah, I just cut around the grass and then, chop and drop there. Little update on this one. Yeah, it's a right mess, but I'm just filling it because it had a backing board on there to support it, much like this. But yeah, that glue is quite strong, so I puttied it in with just wood glue and sawdust. And then this one was jointed, and it is clamped together, and well, it's we'll see how that turns out. Hopefully it turns out straight, and I'll just have to cut it to its final dimensions, give it a little bit of probably a lot of sanding, would be my guess, because I can't put that through the planer anymore. But there's that, and then I just finished up I wonder how many chipmunks are around here. There's two. There's one under there. I hear him. And there's one under the car. I just saw him. So, hey, learn something new. But those cast iron pans I got yesterday, I just took the steel wool to them, took off all the rust, and coated them with oil liberally, and then wiped it off. Now they're in there 450 for an hour, and that's going to season them, kind of lock in that oil. So I just have a quick bite to eat, and then figure out where they go from there.